Good morning, Wild Pack. It's Mama Bear, who forgot to turn off her sound on her computer. Ha ha! Good morning, everybody. How are you? What's up, Wild Pack? Whoop, whoop. Whoop, beep, 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 beep. I don't even know what I'm singing, but I just had to say good morning to y'all, because it is, whoo. Now, it could be the tropical storm that's headed our way, storm fronts and all, when you're psychic and, it'll light you up. So lights them up, lights them up, up. Who knows what movie that's from? Pitch Perfect, you're right. Yes, it is. Lights them up, I'm on fire. My guilty pleasure, the Pitch Perfect movies. Good Lord, I watch those things way more than somebody my age or really any age should. Good morning. And hey, listen, y'all. Thank you so much for your patience while last week was insanity. And, it was craziness, but I just thank you so much. There was some serious magic going on. And so, I know CCanuel, let's get ready to rumble. And the messages this morning, I was talking to Moonbow right before the live, and I pulled the card for the live and everything, and we both looked at each other and went, "Rut-row, Rorge." So, Mary Murph, hey, we should have a Pitch Perfect watch party or something. Oh my God, that would be so fun. We could have martinis and whatever it is, because I don't drink martinis, but and we could all just, get a little bit loopy and sing Pitch Perfect songs together and make a video of it, and it'll go viral, and it'll be like, I can see the headlines now. Psychics, mediums, psychics, Pitch Perfect psychics, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be a lot of fun. All right. So, good morning. All right. So you haven't missed anything, Nikki. You're right on time, just like every good wizard and witch should be. All right. So, sour gummy worms. Whoa. If you put sour gummy worms into a margarita. Okay. So let me jump right into Larry Larson. All right. Good morning. Hola. Hola, mi amor. All right. So let me jump right into the housekeeping, and then we're going to jump right into the readings. But let me also first say, y'all, I am so sorry to tell you, but I have to cancel the live tomorrow morning. I live in Gainesville, Florida, as y'all know, and we got a tropical storm. Elsa is fixing to head towards here. Now, it could change during the middle of the night, but usually when they're on a trajectory like this, we're projected to get 50 to 60 mile an hour winds tomorrow, and that will mean that I will be on alert with cat carriers everywhere. And because I'm surrounded by trees, and anyway, I gotta be, how about I gotta keep my glasses on? I gotta keep on point. So, I'm so sorry. No live tomorrow. And you know what, y'all, I forgot to give away a deck on Friday. I don't know what I was thinking. So some lucky winner today is going to get a deluxe copy of the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck. I'll have to figure out what we're going to do for that, but I got to give one, I got to do that. So, Hexa, you don't know about gummy worms and margaritas? You got to be kidding me. Your age? Come on now, Hexa. Good morning, by the way, Hexa. Y'all, if you don't know Hexa, you got to find her on my Facebook. She doesn't even look real. She's so beautiful that she looks like a doll. I'm like, is that real? And she's not photoshopped. It's nuts. I hate her. No, I'm teasing, Hexa. You know I love you. You're the daughter I never had. All right. So, as always, the cat carriers, as always, the trolls and the frauds run rampant on our channel. And so, if you see somebody that's like inboxing you and they're like, I'm drawn to you, boogity, 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 inbox me for a reading. You're going to lose your money. It's some dude way out in, I don't even know what country. And anyway, and then the next thing you know, you have credit card fraud. So don't do it. And then also, I just really want to take a minute and thank so much. I'm looking for a different name. I don't like saying the people on my team. I don't care for that. I haven't found a good name for that yet, but Teapot and Maureen, Amy, Teapot and Maureen, you guys are the like crazy, amazing moderators. I don't even know what I'd be headless. I'd just be headless doing these lives for y'all every week if I didn't have Amy and Joel and Teapot and Maureen. And I thank them so much. And special shout out to my BFF Ray. I think some of you, I recognize your names on the I think I recognize some of your names on the Witchy Poo forums that we just opened. So if you are one of my, because I want to be very clear, I am all inclusive. If you are a Wiccan, a pagan, a Buddhist, a Taoist, you know, a Catholic, I don't know, you know, really anything other than snake handlers. Not that I really care what you believe, but I care that you handle snakes. That bothers me. You shouldn't be doing that to those animals. But you are all welcome here, and you are welcome in my heart. And so I started a forum. It's witchcraftandwitches.com/forums. And a number of the largest Facebook pages for pagans, Wiccans, Druids, witches. I mean, we just opened yesterday. There's over 300 and something members, because there were all kinds of problems with getting shadow banned and not having their freedom of speech. And if y'all know anything about me, I ain't about that. What do I always say? Stay wild. It's all about the freedom. So if you are of that, hey, Tanya, good morning. And Tanya is one of them. Tanya owns an enormous and just a really amazing resource of information for witches, pagans, druids. You know, you don't even have to identify with that. You could just be interested in, you know, because that's where that all came out of shamanism, just so you know. I won't go into the whole history now, but Tanya has, I have a spell for that. So her forum on my forums is called Spell for That. And some of you guys might be familiar with the Celtic Witch. She's got like 750,000 followers, and Tanya's got, I don't know, a couple 100,000. And then there's the Cauldron, run by amazing guy, Stephen Tues. So if you are wanting to explore that and, or you do already are part of that community, please come over, because those are my forums. No one's going to ban you unless you act like a fool. There's no shadow banning. There's no algorithm. We're real people, doing real things for each other. And as always, please, for those of you that are interested in the shamanism and all the spirit animal, everything animals in nature, that's where I'm at all the time. wildpackwisdom.com/forums. Okay. Lordy be, enough with the announcements. Oh, okay. One other thing, if you would please, I truly have been called, truly, in so many different ways, to step up my game for doing good for animals. And so because of that, I'm doing some things that I have always shied away from doing, like asking you all to share videos and just tell your friends and whatnot about my channel and about the Ark and about spirit, totem, and power animals, and you know, all of that kind of thing. And it is working. I'm seeing new people every day, and I love it, because people just resonate, and then they're always inspired to do better for animals. So if you please share, and then also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once I get back from vacation, we have even more content that we're pumping out, like, you know, specific things like spirit animals that you can call on, or power animals you can call on for anxiety, or separation anxiety, or confidence issues, or because it's amazing. And when you hear some of these stories of healing and whatnot, it's just crazy. So, all right, we're going to get started. And before we do, though, I know, bringing witchcraft to the front, you know, making magic mainstream. You love my game of protecting animals. What does that mean? What does that mean, LK Bowie? You love my game of protecting animals. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It's not a game to me, at all. It's what I've devoted my life to. But in any event, the plans for sharing spirit animals. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I love it when people write me, or they'll text me, or I don't know, I get messages all over the place, but it's just let me just tell you one thing, and then we're really going to start into this reading, because, and by the way, while I'm going through this short story, oh, I got it. Thanks, Lily. Oh, I got it. Up in my game. I'm with you. Got it. Okay. See, I keep trying to tell y'all I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Shelley St. Aubin, how are you? I knew I recognized your name from somewhere. So if I just need to know this, because the card that came for today, the animal that came for today, it has been speaking so loudly to me since it came out, 15 minutes ago. I mean, really loudly. So if you are experiencing some fear about letting go, or you are experiencing some fear or hesitancy or block or something around taking a leap or a leap of faith, or just a major change that you feel in your spirit you're really called to do, and you are not sure you're getting the signs, you're just not sure. I want to know that. So could you please put that in the chat if this is you? If you are, would you please put it in the chat if this is you? If you are having a block or a fear or a hesitancy about like taking a leap of faith or starting something new, making a big change, a big transition, a big metamorphosis. Okay, Tommy, that's you. Pearl, that's you. Yeah. Okay, Lily. Yeah. If this resonates with you guys, so it's craziness. And what I want to talk about is, so let me just show you the card that came out. So for you all this morning, the Puffin, which is the Fool, came out this morning. And then there's the traditional Fool in the Rider Waite Smith Tarot, which is what my Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck is based on, is all the beautiful, amazing symbolism and meanings of the Rider Waite Smith Tarot, right? And if you look at them, Puffin, well, there are many why do I do this? I don't even know what I'm doing. There are many symbolic reasons that Puffin wanted to be the Fool in my deck. But then I'm looking through a jillion pictures and poof, there he is. This Puffin with his arms all spread out and 1 foot up. And this, I mean, you see the similarities, right? Well, here's the thing. So this card is 0 point, right? This tarot card, it's the Fool. Its tarot card meanings are the 0 point, taking a leap of faith, but it's not a blind leap. It's, it's the herald that it is, time to start new things, so on and so forth. However, before I get into more of those meanings, because I do, I always tell y'all, whatever deck you're working with, that the symbolism in the card itself may be, like if you look at this, maybe for some reason, we were only supposed to pull this card today for the little white dog that's at his feet, right? Divine friendship and divine loyalty and just a really great sign of things, and maybe not, right? The Puffin, we may be called to know about the Puffin, that it's time for you to be okay with the fact that, there are some environments that you're just not going to do well in. I mean, Puffins are not the best flyers, and they've got terrible landing gear. Consequently, they spend a lot of their time in the water where they are very comfortable. And in the last couple of weeks, if I had a nickel for every person, clients, friends, family, that have told me that they're just really uncomfortable in their environment because they're very emotional, and this is specifically about emotions, right? They're very emotional, and the people around them are like on them. They're making fun of them. They're shutting them down. They're triggering them on purpose. Not to say that anyone else can trigger you. Let's be clear about this. You are the boss of you, right? You are the boss of you. But sometimes, listen, people can say something and, So, all of that said, those are the traditional tarot card meanings. But what I keep hearing this morning is it's about connecting. The signs are coming to you, and you may not be getting them, or you may be taking a leap of faith too soon, or thinking about a change too soon based on not having all of the information. Case in point. So for those of you that don't know, over the weekend I adopted 2 cats. And I didn't need any more cats. I already have 5 cats. And I love them very much. And I will miss them terribly. I will boo-hoo, and I will be curled up in the fetal position when they start, because they're going to pass like dominoes. They're all older cats, like 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. But attrition is my friend, because you get to an age and you're like, taking care of this many animals. And I've done it my whole life, y'all. My whole life. I have mucked stalls. I have baled hay. I have done it all. So I have wrestled big animals that needed shots. You don't even know. So the last thing I needed in my life was these 2 cats. But through a friend, I started communicating with a very dear friend of hers that was had lost his wife just a few months before, and then he had Alzheimer's and he just went into a rapid decline, and he was in transition between this world and the next. And we started talking. And then consequently, their cats started talking to me. And this friend of mine was able to confirm all the proof, the evidence, because I'm an evidential psychic medium, about the cats in the family and different things with them. And I'm like, well, yep, those cats are for me. And all this crazy stuff happened. Like, she had to bring the cats from Georgia. I had to drive, from Atlanta. I had to drive from Gainesville. I thought we were going to meet in Perry, Florida. Amy saved the day. My girl Amy saved the day. She's like, I thought y'all were meeting in Perry, Florida. And I'm like, we are. And she said, well, on the live today, you said Perry, Georgia. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't even know there was a Perry, Georgia. And she said, yeah, you did. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I pinged my friend. I'm like, hey, are we meeting in Perry, Florida? And my friend goes, I didn't even know there was a Perry, Florida. I thought we were meeting in Perry, Georgia. And I was like, oh, Lord. Because it was way farther away. And there was stuff that was going to happen if that timing hadn't worked out. So we ended up meeting in Valdosta, Georgia, right? Okay. And there's a video coming, I don't know, sometime next week or whatever, about, when I tell people I've worked with animals my whole life and I have a very special relationship with them, I'm not kidding. Like, the carrier that had the cats in it, we took it out of her car, put it in my car. All I did was open the door and poof, the cats just walked into the other carriers. And it wasn't that I had created a tunnel or they could have done anything they wanted. And the doors were shut, by the way. They were safe. Even if they had gotten away from me, they were not going to get out of the car. But they looked around, they went sniff, 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 and right in their carriers they went. So what I say about the story unfolding is we had, if you guys go to my Facebook, there's a video I shot the morning of the second day they were here, and we were all just a mess because I was, anyway, they had gotten out of my office. I don't even know how it happened. My story is someone or something was in this house and let them out. Cause they didn't escape on my watch. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. But, I really, there was a moment I was like, man, am I supposed to have, this is a lot of work. It's this is that. And I don't really mind the work, but I have people ask me every single day to adopt animals, to foster animals, to rescue animals every single day. And mostly I have to, put them with other people that can do a better job for them. And I go about my rescuing in a different way, right? There was a day that I did all the physical stuff. I can't do that anymore. So I just go about it a different way. All that being said. So then one of the things that the cats had told me was that their owner, who was in transition with Alzheimer's, really loved classic cartoons, and in particular Rocky and Bullwinkle, which my friend was able to confirm. And then later that day, on that second day, when I was like, oh, I was just sitting here, and I already loved them. So I don't know what I was doubting. I don't know I think I was just tired, honestly, because I fell in love with them by telepathic communication. Why these two cats? I don't know. I see cats and kittens every single day of my life. So, and even puppies, and miniature horses and everything. So, later that day, my friend says that the ginger cat, whose name is Barney, his litter mate that was actually killed by a neighbor, his name was Fred. So Fred and Barney. And I was like, okay, I'm going through this story so that you all know that the answer for you to be the fool and take the step off that ledge, it doesn't necessarily come all at one time. And I don't know what this is pressing on my heart. I mean, like literally an elephant sitting on my chest saying, they've got to hear you this morning, Bernadette. They've got to hear you this morning. Because anything new, any chance you want to take, any risk you want to take, any metamorphosis that you want to go through, any transition, transmutation, or if you're really involved in helping someone else through something like this, like if you're super duper involved. Now, I've got to believe that we all have a lot of friends that are going through something, or family. It's not like that. Like, you'll be all up in that business. It is so important for you to hear this about seeing the signs and staying open to the signs. So for instance, I read for somebody yesterday, and this person was in just such distress. I mean, just distress. And at the end of their reading, I looked at this person and I said, I am getting one more message. Is it okay? She's like, yeah. And so I said, I don't know what made me do this, but I said, ma'am, the sun'll come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. I don't know what about that struck her as funny, but she let out a laugh that came from past her toes, way down into Mama Earth, way up and out of her mouth. And she laughed so unexpectedly, she scared herself. It was just such an immediate reaction. She scared herself like somebody had walked up behind her and clapped two pans together, and she jumped. Then she started crying, and she bawled the ugly cry. And we just sat there together for a few minutes because I was going to hold space for her. Right. But that was the healing that she needed in the moment. Right. So when I was on the horn with Moonbow earlier, and Barney's trying to escape, you can't see him, but Barney is now trying to escape. Hold on. Let me move my camera. See if you guys can see Barney. See, there's Barney. He's trying to make the great escape, but he's decided better of it. He's one of the new he's the Barney of Fred and Barney. So when this card came this morning, that's the song that is always with this. That's always with this card or anything. Good day, sunshine. Anything having to do with the sun, anything having to do with things rising again tomorrow, that kind of thing, right? And so, oh wow, Nikki, that's a synchronistic song for you. That's so cool. So it's important. How do I put this? So I really do my best to stay away from telling people what they should do, what they shouldn't do, what they need, what they don't. But what I'm hoping is that you'll notice is that we really are a wild pack. And whether we know the person whose screen name it is, whether they're brand new here, and if you're brand new, welcome. For those of you that are been subscribers, you're my heart. There's a synchronicity that starts to happen with the energies, and that whole birds of a feather flock together thing. Really, it's true, just even from a scientific standpoint, right? So here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo, right? Exactly. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the Fool and the Puffin, but really the idea of the reading for you all this morning, because then we're going to go into the sacral chakra, right? Or the solar plexus chakra. We've already done the root chakra. We did the sacral chakra last time, and then we're going to go into the solar plexus chakra. It really is the perfect chakra for this card with all of the golden yellow, with all of that. And it is the connective chakra, right? It's the chakra that connects the I am to the root to the, you get it, right? And so there's something, it's deeply meaningful and deeply profound, but it should be light and it should be joyous and it should be fun. So that's part of the message this morning, is that if you're fretting, figure out how to turn your frown upside down, because the visual that I'm being given is well, you guys know I get visions. So, it's literally with y'all standing there with your wands. Those of you that have wands, or you use any kind of tool to help you charge up yourself or charge up the environment around you. And you're like orchestrating things almost like Mickey Mouse in Fantasia, when Mickey decided that he was going to be, a wizard, and, he laid waste to everything in there, but you won't do that. But that's what I get, it's that orchestration, and I hear all this music, and I hear, this big swell of just this big swell. And so there's some kind of wave that's washing over the group this morning that is the wave of prosperity. It's the wave of success. It's the wave of, it's like you're not even supposed to think about dreams coming true. it's almost like well, no, it's exactly like you're just supposed to think of whatever this change is that you want, whatever this metamorphosis is that you want. It's like when you've got to get up and go to work in the morning, or you've got to do something for your kids, or what, it's just something that's like on your plate, right? And you make a list of, okay, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Okay, did this check, did this check, did this check. It's just like that. So it's not even a dream. It's already a reality. You just haven't heard all of the things that are pointing you there yet. But the universe is trying to tell you. Now, one of the things that I don't think we've ever talked about here during these live tarot readings, or really in my daily tarot readings or whatever, is that spirit will come to you in the way that you can recognize it best or most easily. And that's going to be different for everybody. Spirit comes to me a lot of time, with visions, right? Because I'm a very visual learner, and I often don't understand things that I hear or I read in terms of technical things. If it comes to anything emotional, please, I knew it before you said it. Please, I knew it before you did it. I totally knew it, right? It's emotions. But sometimes, just like I had to ask that fellow, what do you mean by game, right? I didn't jump off the deep end and go, what do you mean I'm not playing games, blah, blah. But that's what it could have meant. But then he said, well, you said up your game. Got it. I made the connection, right? And so it's that kind of thing. I had to see it. I had to clarify it. So if your psychic language is signs in nature, if your psychic language is music or books or names or numbers or crystals or colors or all of the above, you're really being called in this moment. And this is if you're in this live tarot reading right now, or you're watching this a week from now, or whenever from now, you're supposed to hear this in this divine moment, that you've got to not that you have to be okay with, but it's almost like a light bulb going off where you go, oh, I get it. There's a language between spirit and I that's specific to me. Right, there is. And as long as you know that, and you invite spirit to tell you more, tell me more. How much dough did he spend? Go grease lightning in your bird. See, everything reminds me of a musical. I should just stop now. Okay, so bum, ba-dum, 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 bum, ba. Okay, so I'm sorry. Now I've got grease rolling through my head. But anyway, so that's the story, right? So let's do this. I want to take a few questions that have to do with your new beginnings, or something that's blocking you from taking a leap of faith or getting in your way. And I want to actually, you've been singing Grease. See, yeah, what can I tell you? So if you've got a question, tell me more. How much dough did he spend? Summer loving. Da 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 da. Oh, those summer nights. Wow, wow, wow. I do that all day long. I just love that musical. Who doesn't? Okay, who's got a question about their new beginnings? I'm ready to psych out, because there's a storm coming our way, and my brain is rattling around in all its fluid. Ooh, loopy. Wondering what my block is, not sure. Your block for starting something new, Marsha Taylor? Tanya's got earworms. Nanny boo boo. Marsha. Marsha Taylor, here's what your block is. In your mind, it's going to take so much work to get what you want. You're just not really sure it's for you. I'm not saying you're lazy, because you're not lazy. It's not like that. But it's like, well, I mean, like, it's like me, right? I'm like, oh my God, I have got to gift this weight that I've put on in the last 5 months. I've got to gift it to somebody, animals, other people, whatever. But but it seems like a lot to do. And so I'm resistant to it. It's kind of like that. So what I really do know is that, it's not as hard as I'm making it out to be. So there's another emotional trigger there. I don't know what it is. And I'm talking about for me. Now, when I step deeply into your energy, really the emotional trigger comes that change is difficult. Transmuting is difficult, but if I may, and I'm just going to say this, if you all ask me a question, I've got to believe it's okay that I answer you. I will do my best not to reveal anything too personal, but I've got to believe that you are okay with me answering you in a very authentic manner. And that would be that, whatever this change is that you're blocked, really at your core, it scares you. You wouldn't even know who you were. It feels like free falling to you, and that scares you. I mean, if I free fell off of something really tall, it would scare the Pewalk and Jazzies out of me. And so it's got to be, you got to make peace with that, because Marcia, it's actually, it really is a whole new world for you, and you really are being called to make that change. So don't try to see if you can connect with the feeling of, oh my God, that's just too much, right? Connect with that feeling of free falling, and just go through it, because if you don't, I don't think you're happy where you are. As a matter of fact, I sense a tremendous amount of just meh. You're just meh. Not you are meh, but you're feeling meh. And you can't boil around in that forever. That's not helpful to you. So I hope that was on point, and I hope it was helpful. Hopelessly devoted to you. A Sparks, connecting with animals, horses. Okay. A Sparks, is that a change for you? Because I'm only answering questions that have to do with new changes, new things. LK Bui, I have a question. How can a Gemini develop willpower? Well, that's certainly new for a Gemini to do that. I will tell you, let me just tell you the secret to that. No joke. I have found that Geminis and Libras, not Pisces so much, but Geminis and Libras, should allow themselves the freedom to do what they feel like doing in the moment, because trying to get you all to do anything else is like handcuffing you. It is incredibly restrictive. You feel like you're in jail when people are like, you should have done this, you should have done this, you have to do this, you have to do this, somebody might as well just lock you up and throw away the key, especially if you're very true to your Gemini traits, right? And so it's not willpower. It's not that. It's that there's a whole lot of stuff that, society puts on you, you put on yourself, of what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing, and how you should be and how you shouldn't be. And that's their problem. And my friend Ray that I mentioned earlier, I've never met a Libra who was so Libra. And when no one puts pressure on him to do or be anywhere at a certain time or show up in a certain way, he's superhuman in the things that he can do. And I mean superhuman. And he can get more done in an hour than some people can get done in 10 weeks. No joke. So he just, in his older years, he's learned to just go with the ebb and flow. I hope that was helpful to all Geminis. Okay. What aspect of my life should I focus on to take that leap, Lily? Lily, do you suffer from imposter syndrome? I get the feeling that here's where I'm going with that. God, I just really feel like you are suffering with imposter syndrome, and that is a block to your leap. But is there something you do with art and healing? Because I keep seeing these paintings and these drawings, but I'm seeing it in what would be like a healing area. I don't want to say doctor's office, but a healing area. like a healing area. Does that, that's what you're being called. That's what you're being called to do. A Sparks, I'm going to ask you again. Is this a career change for you? Is this a change? Are you wanting to change to have a career with animals? Is that a separate thing than what you're in now? Okay. So Lily, let me, hold on. Did you answer asking for clarity in conversations? Don't worry about it pissing people off. You need clarity. So Lily, imposter syndrome is like when you feel like, well, I can do this, but maybe I'm not good enough yet or know enough yet. And so I'm afraid that I'm going to show up and people are going to think I'm more of an expert or better at something than I am. Rosa Lipke, you're back. Okay. I did have to take a big old drink for that. So it's like that. And then, oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, I have really wanted to open an art for therapy place for PTSD. Okay. Well, there's the answer to your question, honey. Yeah. Okay. Right. And that's what, yay. I'm so glad it was helpful. So let me tell you guys how I did that. Right. So, there are a lot of you that have pinged me over the last year since I really, started doing lives on my YouTube channel. And, a lot of you have talked about how you want to be healers or psychics or mediums or tarot flippers or whatever. And I'm always here to support you all. The world can always use more of those. So, that is, how it happened in my mind, because you heard what I said to Lily, and then Lily was able to confirm that, right? Okay. She's always wanted to own or do whatever. Okay. How it happened in my head was I was having a conversation with the puffin, and the puffin was painting, and the puffin was surrounded by what looked to be a healing place. Right. And the puffin said, this is what she's supposed to be doing. So I would really encourage you, Lily, because I didn't know that about you, but Puffin did. And so I would really encourage you to just get with the program and move forward with it. Don't even think of it as a dream. Get over your imposter syndrome. Listen, everybody starts somewhere. I'm a 10 gajillion times better psychic medium, shamanic practitioner, animal communicator, blah, 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 tarot flipper than I was 10 years ago or 5 years ago. I mean, the hope is that we all learn and grow, right? Okay. So, all right, let me go back and see. So A Sparks, I really want to answer that question, but it's not this. Okay. Let me just say this, A Sparks. Let me just say this. You haven't asked the question yet, but I really keep being drawn to you. So A Sparks, if you're still listening, okay. You've got a block about how you can actually earn a real income working with animals. And we all have to feed ourselves, right? And, mama got to feed cats and a dog and myself. And I get that, but because you're so focused on the I can't or I don't know how. I hear you in my mind saying this a lot. A Sparks, okay, good. I think you're still there. I don't know. You are not necessarily a person that's going to reach out and find that information no matter what it takes. And that's the big disconnect. If you would make it your business to reach out and get that information and put it all together, I don't think you're going to be happy doing anything unless it's working with animals. But you're also not going to be happy if you can't pay your bills. That's a big fear for you, a big fear. And I understand that. I grew up in a family, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. I didn't even have one to rub on my jeans. So, you are really, I'm telling you, you will find a happiness like you wowzer powsers, like you've never even known. Now, what I would say to you all, for this, if you're working with Puffin, if you're willing to work with Puffin, as a spirit animal, Puffin will come to you in times that you really need to explore your sacred self. And you've got to really, know how to weather the storms. In the Alaskan regions, puffins, their name is Auk. and they're thought in, in their cultures to be weather shaman, and that they can control the weather. I've just been in nature so much, and I mean out in places where you'd think I was lost for days. It's amazing what animals can tell you. Like the other day, when people go buck wild, when they're like, they get a new animal and the animal is hiding, especially a cat, and they're like, oh my God, I'm never going to find him. I'm like, first of all, that animal is not going to let himself starve. That's not going to happen. Second of all, do you have other animals in the home? Yes. Okay. Open all your doors to everything and sit very quietly early in the morning, or even at night. Why? Because the other animals will smell that animal and they will go to find it. When I couldn't find Georgie the other morning, I looked for Georgie, the new cat, like 5 minutes and thought it would be fun to shoot a video, right? And it was. Don't miss the giant poos that got left in my house, because I'm telling you, something was in my house that was not my animals. It was unearthly. So I hadn't been standing there 2 minutes, and one of my cats, Aphrodite, came in and looked up at me. She, in my craft room, she scooter pooped right up under my craft table, and she sniffed around and she walked back out, and I bent down. I couldn't see the cat, but I knew dang well he was there because she told me. So I bent down. I very gently and quietly started pulling stuff out, and he looked up at me, and that was it. He was there. So that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is for you, A Sparks. Gosh, I hope you do it, because the thing is you're very good with animals. I'm being told you're very good with animals. And if it's horses, not a lot of people are very good with horses. Okay. Okay, I resemble that remark. Okay. I'm looking for other questions. I'm going to take one more question, and then I'm going to move on to the solar plexus chakra, because a bunch of you have questions that actually have to do with your solar plexus chakra and not so much with the change. Okay. See, well, right there, I just came on Tommy G's question. I was scrolling and I was like, oh, a bunch of y'all are having problems with the solar plexus chakra. Poof. Tommy G's question pops up. What chakra do I need to work on so I can take this leap? Your solar plexus chakra. I mean, everybody that's having a problem changing in this chat, in this live tarot reading this morning, it's all about your solar plexus chakra. Natalie, I'm living proof, my native root. I'm trusting the universe. Okay. All right. I was looking for another question. Okay. Welcome, Icy Air. I don't remember your name before, but you know what? I'm a YouTuber. My age, I'm a YouTuber, right? Seems to be going well for me. I'm having a good time. People show up. So don't remember, I don't know if you were here earlier, but don't think of it as a dream. Just put it on your laundry list. I've got to get this done. I've got to get this done, and just get her done. Okay. I don't see any other questions. I don't know why I don't, but I'm going to move on to the people that are having issues with their solar plexus chakra, which is, no, it's not just you, Angie Bowser. All I want to do is sit out in the woods and listen to the critters. Now I want to be like in the mountains where bears come sniff me, but little C, big C. Where to start? Your solar plexus chakra. When I was younger and anything was wrong with me, my grandma used to chase me around with ungantine. Because if you put ungantine on anything, that stuff smelled bad. It stung like the dickens, but it worked. But I'm telling you, your solar plexus chakra is the answer to all of your questions today. There's something when okay, so I want to say this again. For those of you that have just shown up, I am only taking questions that have to do with the cards that were pulled this morning, which is the Puffin as a spirit totem and power animal, which is the Fool in my deck, and the Fool card in the Rider Waite tarot deck. Oh, I know what I wanted to say, about cards. So probably there's no live tomorrow because we're going to get some vestige of that storm, and I've got to have everything in my house shut down and ready to run with the cats and the dog if anything should happen. So but I should be back on for Friday if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. And on Friday I want to show you guys something, because I've started being called to pair my cards up with other decks so that For a long time before I had my own deck, I used to make like a potpourri of a deck where I would take my favorite cards from a lot of different decks. And so, the Fool would be a card from this deck, and the Queen of Pentacles would be a card from this deck, and so on and so forth. But I've never seen anything align with every single message on any kind of deck like the animals do. It's nuts. And I'm going to start doing that, to show you guys and also to get maybe some messages that will give other signs and signals and omens to you all for these readings. So, okay. I'm the king of the swingers. Whoa, a jungle VIP. Oh, now I've got an earworm. Okay. So, little C, big C. So when you talk about the sacral chakra, it's the yellow chakra, right? It's our third chakra. And when you want to talk about where to bring some power, it's your mental powerhouse. It is where you can create. It gives you the warmth and the magic and the vitality of the sun. And it's your power core. It's like where your warrior, what they call a warrior awareness, right? Where it lives. And if you've ever, heard the saying, go with your gut, scientifically what they've discovered is that there are a bajillion more neurons in your stomach, in your gut, than there are in your brain. And there is science now that's starting to see that potentially tons of information that where we thought started in the brain and then traveled down to the rest of the body starts in the gut and travels up to the brain. And so I would encourage you all who are having a challenge with transition, a challenge with this kind of thing, to really work around, Angie says it's not because their solar plexus is blocked, but that their sacral chakra or their heart chakra is too wide open and one of them are sucking too much energy. Yeah, that could be the case. It totally could be the case. There could be so many things that is, there could be so many things that can be out of balance or a little bit fractured in your solar plexus chakra. You're absolutely right. And so the idea is, thank you, Nikki, for the donation. I really appreciate it. I never asked for donations, you guys, but just know that when I do get them, 50% of everything that you give to me on this channel goes to support the animal charities that I support, which always have to do with fighting against cruelty to animals. So I really appreciate it. So there's that part on the sacral chakra. Now, Amy Paris asked, does the Fool card mean I am giving away my power? No, the Fool card doesn't mean that. The Fool card actually means that you're not allowing yourself to step into your true, complete power. And what that means is you're not willing to take that leap forward. You're not willing to take that step forward. You're not willing to go through the metamorphosis or the transmutation. And that can come in all kinds of different ways, right? Sometimes when your solar plexus has drama, you'll notice that you start having digestive issues. You'll start noticing, a lot of people that have autoimmune issues also have digestive issues. And your thinking can go off kilter. And what that means, now let's be clear, I am not a medical professional of any kind at all. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not prescribing. I'm not diagnosing. This is for entertainment purposes only. However, when your gut is out of whack, you're out of whack. You can't think clearly. You feel like you're thinking in mud or sludge, or God forbid that crappy artificial pudding stuff that they have out. So gross. And so it is, oh, bye, Tanya. Love to you too. You got to get your gut cleared up, and that can be mentally, emotionally, or physically, which is why I'm really harping on the solar plexus chakra today. I mean, we needed to get to it anyway to talk about that, but it's, you know, in combination with these two cards, with the Fool card, you know, in particular the Puffin, you know, especially if you want to work with Puffin as your power animal, because when you know, they're just the sweetest birds, right? And they've got that whole thing that happens with their beak. Their beaks are only brightly colored during mating season. That's it. And so, you know, for a puffin, a mating season is about having other little puffins. But if we take a look at that symbolically as humans, our mating season could be about whatever that we want to have a sacred alliance with, like a sacred relationship with. And that can be ourself, for self-love, for self, you know, honoring self. That can be with a romantic partner. That could be with something we want to create. It could be all kinds of things. And so I would really encourage you all to, right, Kara, it's called our second brain for GERD is no joke. It is, believe me, I know. Okay. So that's why when we are, you know, we're talking about this, they're, like I said, everything should be light and fun, but this is a really, I don't want to say serious in a negative way, but the hope is that you all are really hearing this today, because if you could see what I'm being shown for you when you get through this transition and you get through this new time, I can understand why it would look a little scary, and I could understand why it might feel a little scary, because it might feel like you're free falling. Like that's not, your sense of it is like, that's not the life that I know. That's not the life that I have ever felt before, but it's been the life you've always wanted. And then, you know, it might come into question, is that the life you really, really want? Only you will know that. But as of this reading, this tarot reading this morning, I don't get a sense from anybody in the wild pack, any of you all that are out there watching, I don't get a sense from anybody that this isn't truly what you want. And you've waited hell a long time to get there, and hell a long time to get started. And so today is literally that day. Like you just got to roll up your shirt sleeves, and no matter how you're coming in for a landing, because again, puffins they're not graceful flyers, y'all. And they are definitely not graceful landers, but in the water, they're just as graceful as they can be. Bye, little C, or bye, C. Canuel. Okay. So how much time do we have left? Oh, okay. We've got plenty of time. Okay. So, from here on out, for the rest of the morning, all I'm going to do is I'm going to answer questions. However, your questions must be about a change that you think you're being called to make, or that you want to make, or that you don't want to make. But it's about a change. And I want to go back and say that again. It could be about a change that you're either being made to make. If you've given away power, that would be it. Somebody's making you change, or somebody's laying a lot of pressure on you to change. Your question must be about a change that you are not changing yet, but you know you want to, you know you're being called, or you're being pressured to make a change you don't want to make. And I will start answering questions. I will answer questions beginning now. Hell a long time. I'm 68, LK Bowie, and just now figuring it out. Hey, better late than never. And who's to say that 68 is late? 68 is the new 40. So there's that. And you know what? You're an eternal soul. So whatever you do now is just going to be beneficial to your DNA coding in your next life. So there's that. Mashamel. Man, I hope I'm saying your name right. Mahashamel. I'm getting big messages about change. I wanted to know where this is coming from in family, relationship, or career. Okay. I find it hard to believe that you don't know where that's coming from. I find that hard to believe. I think you do know. let me just say this. The first thing I feel for you, Masha Mail, is an actual move, a physical move. So I don't know if you're physically moving from one country to the other, one state to the other, one street to the other, or if you're just, it's a physical move. It could be a career, it could be away, but it's away from something. And you are, okay, again, I'm going to say, if you're on my channel and you've asked a question, I have to assume that it is okay if I answer you authentically. How do I put this? So Mashamel, as a general rule, you're not quite as confident that you make the right decisions as you might be. Not just in this instance, but through your life so far. And I feel like, oh, thank you. Yay. I'm getting it right. Your name. So I just keep seeing you doing this, bowing your head, bowing your head, bowing your head. And you're being called to hold your head up. And when you make a decision, that's it. You've made the decision. If you fall flat on your face, that's not a failure. You still made the decision and you went for it. Do you know how many people never move forward in their lives because they're scared to make a tiny decision? It's crazy. I mean, they just keep themselves in jail their whole life. They just keep themselves in prison their whole life. So you're really being called to stop looking outside for validation, outside for validation, outside for validation. I feel like you do that a lot because I keep hearing the word talented. I'm sure you're smart. I'm sure you're intelligent, but I just keep hearing you're very talented. So I don't know what you do career-wise or want to do career-wise, but it has to do with an actual, okay, everything has to do with a talent, right? We're all talented in lots and lots of ways. But I just keep, like, if you associate talent with something that is arts-oriented or performing-oriented or, I don't know. I don't know, but it could even be like, I have a friend who, this person is, she's always trying, charities are always trying to snatch her away and get her to work for them because she is the most talented fundraiser. I don't know how she comes up with these ideas. And it's like people just throw money at her when she is organizing a fundraiser or she's, a charity organization. She's the head of their fundraising or whatever. It's the darndest thing I've ever saw. She's like the Pied Piper of money. So that's a talent because it will involve something that's where you have to create. It won't be just plain old numbers. Like, let's say you were an accountant and it's tax season, right? Well, there's only so creative that you can be with that. But this is going to be something that really causes creativity. And that's what you're going to, thank you, Lisa. Bye, honey. So it's, yeah. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. So stop looking outside. Start taking more confidence in your own decisions and just be just write them out. You're more talented than you think. Okay. All right. So who am I missing? Lisa Snyder, did you click off already? Probably. Dang, Lisa, I had a message for you. Lisa, if you're still listening, I'll send it to you on Facebook. But I just had a message pop right into my head for you. Okay. Kara Holland Walker. I don't know, Mama Bay. I don't know if I should or not. Okay. You're not. Okay. So because I understand why you would not want to, you don't have to tell me what it's about on the channel. I just need a second to tap in. Yes. Man, that was the most resounding yes. Holy guacamole. Absolutely. Positively, you should. Whatever it is that you're leaning towards, you should. You absolutely should. And I keep hearing the song Walk Away Joe. I don't know if you know that song, but I keep hearing the song Walk Away Joe. Okay. Maureen, I will after the live, I will answer you privately. Let's see. Axie. Anything spirit about change during the period after you. Yeah. You know what? Actually, what I'm being what I'm being told for you is that you actually should take a little bit of a break right after uni. It's like, it's not like you're depleted. It's not like you're bottomed out or anything. It's almost like you've done so well. You've come so far. You've done so much. There's something that you don't really ever like. You're pretty good with self-care and self-love, but I don't know that you celebrate yourself or celebrate what's to come. But there's something around, well, really it's the subject of ceremony and ritual. It's almost like for a 3-month period, and I keep here literally like 3 months, 90 days after graduation, you should go places and see things, in particular see things that are highly elevated. So for instance, let's say that you've always wanted to go to the Louvre or the Momo, or I don't know, something that would elevate your consciousness, something that would put you in direct connection with a higher way of thinking, a higher education, a higher concept, a higher, does that make sense? And in that 3-month period of time, it's like your future is cemented. It's like, it's not, it's cemented. And the trajectory that I see you going on is this really steady, strong, but really steady climb to this level, and then this level, and then this level, and this level. And whatever this is that you do, you're going to be at the absolute top of your game. And other people who are in whatever industry you're in, whatever lane you're in, are going to know you as an expert of something. And it's going to be a worldwide thing. They're going to know you as an expert of something. I'd really be interested to know what you're studying, Axie, because there's some kind of there's something around you uncovering information, like a discovery kind of thing, uncovering information or putting information together that others haven't seen yet, like a new way to do something, a new something. And you're going to do that. You're very focused on, you're very, very focused on finding answers to questions, meaning research. Like, I don't think you think of it as research. I think if you think of it more like a treasure hunt kind of thing. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Amy, good luck with the storm tomorrow, honey. Oh my goodness, I'm right there with you. Okay. I hope that's helpful. I really hope that's helpful. Okay. Okay. So Natalia Vargas. My twin flame journey. I want to give up something. Tell me, okay, I want to give up, but something tells me don't. I'm almost so close in union with myself. I got to ride the wave, but it's painful doing the work alone and heal every part of me. That's not a question. That's a statement. And I will tell you that twin flames are some of the hardest things to get over. And I don't even know that we ever really get over them. I think we can only heal them to a certain point. You know, listen, you guys, my favorite thing is when healers talk about, you know, completely healing. What does that mean? How does anybody ever even gauge that? How, because I see clients oh my gosh, you guys, I've done over 65,000 readings in my career so far, right? Okay. 65,000, no joke. A lot of that is because for the last 15 years, I've read at the university on a lot of their nights where I'll read 50 people in a night at like their Halloween or their Harry Potter or their, you know, romance or whatever, right? For years I've done this. So, and it's amazing how many college kids will stand in line to get a reading. Last time I was there was 600 kids in line to get a reading. It was unbelievable. I had to take 3 other psychics. So it was fun. But what I'm saying about that is I have people that I see all the time that feel so guilty because they've been in a long-term marriage or long-term relationship, but there's something deep in them that just absolutely gets in turmoil, triggered. they still suffer grief from a twin flame, from a deep love that they once had. And they feel so guilty about it, but we don't know. There's not enough scientific evidence yet that says exactly what trauma does for the long term in our DNA and our cellular memory. And what if you shared a past life with that person and it ended tragically, or it ended amazingly, and you'd still have the feeling of that person that you miss, and now it ended badly? I mean, y'all, all of the hypotheses and opinions out there can be true, and none of them can be true. You can only know what's true for you. And so I would say to anybody, if you're trying to keep yourself away from somebody that you know that it means saving yourself, and it's in the highest and best interest of your own good health and your own safety, that can be tough, because you always want them, you always want the best for them. You see the best in them, right? And you wish that the best of them would pair up with the best of you, and that's just not always possible. Okay. But my heart goes out to you. It really does. Question, Brown Brujita. Question around my career life change, please, as it relates to shamanic path and co-creating with the animal allies. Okay, that's not a question. You're just saying that there's a question around it, but I don't have a specific question. So let me just say this. Let me just tell you what I'm getting. So again, I'm going to say, if you have asked a question on my channel and I come to you, I'm going to assume that you want me to answer authentically. And Brujita, here is what I'm hearing. Sometimes you have a little bit of a tendency, because we all do, but it's getting in your way. We all have a tendency of judging. And in this particular, I don't think you judge people for race, creed, color, sexual orientation, anything like that. But I think there's an element of you that judges people in degrees of what you think their abilities are. Well, that's a good shaman. That's not a good shaman. That's a good psychic. That's not a good psychic. This person is really a good animal, that kind of thing. I would encourage you to know that relationships with the other side are exactly like the relationships we have with people here. The people here in the here and now aren't going to like that. And the people, the two-legged and four-legged peoples on the other side, they don't like it either. And you are thinking that you're a little more tapped in than you actually are. But if you will take the sting of what's just been told to you, if you'll let it not sting, I do feel like you're being called to do some very, very deep work within those two lanes, within shamanism and co-creating with animals, whatever that means to you. Now, here's why. When you become a reader, you're already a reader, and I'm not talking just to you, Brujita, but I'm talking to anybody that either reads or wants to read or, whatever. And certainly I'm not telling any of you professionals out there how to run your professional career. I am sharing with you my experience, having taught hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, into the thousands at this point, of psychics and mediums and tarot readers and animal communicators. And what that means is, what you'll find is, over time, the people that their energy is in alignment with where you are as a practitioner, that's who you're going to see come through your door. Mostly I get people that are at absolute rock bottom, like wow. And that's because my battery is strong enough to dive into the shadowlands and be totally okay. It doesn't deplete me. I don't, I'm there to do a job, and it doesn't mean that my heart doesn't go out to people. It just means that they don't pay me to be in sympathy for them. They don't pay me to be empathetic. They pay me for answers. And I hate to say it harshly like that, but but at the end of the day, this is a job. If you accept money for your readings, it's a job. And I think healers and readers can lose sight of that sometimes because, most of us, I would gather, are very connected to the spiritual realms, and, we're very committed to our spiritual work, but if you're charging, it's a job. And Brujita, what I'm hearing for you is that you have that kind of battery. Your battery is so strong that if you will just move past your own ego a bit to really start getting into the deep stuff, you're going to have the most satisfying, not only are you going to help a lot of people, at a very profoundly deep level, but you're going to be very satisfied. You're going to be very satisfied. If you're offended, I can't apologize, because it's what I was told, and I hope that was helpful. So, good. Plenty of time. Bye, Kira. Jules. Why do I continue to feel like giving away everything and living a nomadic life? It goes against my desire to create a nest. I'm no spring chicken. I guess, Jules, that would depend on how you see nest. It doesn't matter the houses we live in. It doesn't matter the clothes that we live in. Ultimately, our nest is Mother Gaia. That's the ultimate nest. So you already live in a nest, and if you're traveling a lot, maybe you'll have a travel trailer. I just mentioned him earlier today. My BFF Ray, he's been living a nomad life. He travels all around the world in his little tiny camper, and that is his nest. I mean, you should see the things you can do with a tiny camper, and he's 6'4". So, it is, I would tell you that, I would tell you to look to Puffin to see things from a different perspective. And what that means is, I don't know what a Puffin thinks about flying. I imagine they do it because it's natural for them. But I can't imagine it's very comfortable for them. I don't think they judge themselves. They're like, oh, I'm not they don't look at eagles and go, why can't I be a flyer like an eagle? I don't think that happens. Maybe it does, but I don't think so. But man, when they hit that water and they hit their stride, you can almost watch them go and just shimmy down into that water. Shimmy down into Mother Earth, shimmy down into a different way of thinking about that being your nest. And it doesn't mean, what does that mean? You're not a spring chicken. That means nothing. If you can sustain physically what you want to do, then do it. I will tell you that I'm hearing in my head, Jules first, that you have always felt very separate from other people. You've always felt like you were on the outside looking in. And this will help you to see that actually hasn't been the case, that at any time you could have gone in the group, but you're such an observer that it really was your first choice is just to watch. You're a watcher. I can see your eyes doing this. You don't miss a trick. People's microfacial expressions, if they move one finger, if they cock their head a certain way. I feel like temperature is very important to you. You're very temperature aware. You're just a very aware person, very, very physically sensitive. And so I think you'll be happiest if you go on your nomadic life. I don't know about giving everything away. I don't know what you own. But don't go buck wild and be like, if you've got things of value, give them to people who could use them or that kind of thing. But, or store them somewhere in case you want them 5 or 10 years down the road. But I got to tell you, that's a change that I feel could be very good for you, Jules. Okay. All right. Okay. So y'all, I want to say again, I'm only going to, oh God, Nikki, thank you so much. Nikki, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. I'm only going to answer questions that have to do with change. I'm only going to answer questions that have to do with change. And here's why. I won't go, we'll go into that a whole nother time. Rosa, you are struggling with whether you should start raw hiding again or go a different direction. I don't know what raw hiding is. Raw hide, head them up, move them out. I don't know. That probably means like a leather art, maybe, Rosa. I don't think you have a clear intention for what you want, what you do to accomplish. So what you've got to figure out first, Rosa, is the change up here to figure out what you want to accomplish. So like, if I do this, I want the result to be this. You got nothing. Once you figure that out, I keep hearing 2, 2, 2. And I keep seeing in my psychic eye, when I see a V like this, I know that it's two things. And depending on, do I see the twos separate, like two sticks, or do I see it like this where they're connected? I feel like you're going to end up doing two things. Two things. You'll whatever you do with that raw hiding thing, there's like a couple different lanes you can go into doing that, whatever it is. I'm being told do the one that's the most beautiful. I don't know what that means, but do the most beautiful. And then the other direction you're going to go in is going to be whatever you would need to go into to give a support system to the raw hiding thing. You won't love it. You won't hate it. It's just a necessary thing. I hope that's helpful. So don't struggle. Stop saying I'm struggling, Rosie. You're not struggling. You're taking your time to make an informed decision, and you're taking the time to be, right? You're going to take a leap, but it's going to be a leap of faith, but it's not faith based on blind faith. You're in an information gathering stage. So stop saying that you're struggling, because you're not. Okay. Okay, Beverly Wakefield, Earthwise. Hey, honey. I had a vision that I travel to do ceremonies, yet I see no path to do that. Is this where I'm supposed to be? Or it was a more... So Beverly Wakefield, Earthwise. I keep seeing you're supposed to be traveling to do ceremonies, but not physically. There's something you're supposed to be doing with the internet. So I don't know if you've got like a Facebook page that is your business, or a website that's your business, or you're a YouTuber, or a Twitcher, or Instagrammer, or whatever. But you're supposed to be working with the internet in some way to do what you're doing. And I also hear that you're actually supposed to be helping people learn to do ceremony more than you're supposed to be doing it yourself. There's some big teaching element that you're being called to do. I hope that was helpful. Okay. Renee Crowley, or Kroll, will changing departments in my company's transitions be successful for me? Yeah. I don't feel like it's an upward move or a downward move. I feel like it's a lateral move. So when you say successful, it'll be smooth, but it's not like going to make you a rock star. So if that's what you want to do, then do it. But so Renee, I keep seeing when my body starts to move like this, I feel like somebody's headed out the door, headed out the door, headed out the door. And so I'm really curious as to why you're curious about this particular situation, when I feel like ultimately you want to be out the door of this company that you work for. It's almost like they've got a subsidiary company that you'd rather be with. Think about that. So I don't know that I would focus so much on the transition to a new department as a transition to like a whole new everything, if that makes sense. Unless that's what you mean. Like the department is in a division of the company that you'd like. It's like if you work in ladies' shoes, then you go to kids' shoes or, you know, what, horseshoes or whatever. It's like that. But, Renee, I'm just going to tell you this, honey, because it's what came to me. I feel like you have people on the other side that are saying to you, you don't ever aim high enough, that you are capable of so much more. And they're really asking you to see that at this time of transition, that you are capable of so much more and you always have been. And to whatever this block is, that you just don't necessarily put yourself forward or go for the gusto, go for the big brass ring. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to step up. I hope that's helpful. You've always been capable of so much more, and so do that. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Oh, little C, big C, that's right. You're in Ormond Beach. Ugh, girl. Ugh, Ormond Beach. I hope you have someplace to go. Okay. All right. So, Cheryl Ellis, should I be investing further in my current team or building a new one? Okay. So what I'm hearing immediately, man, this was like flash for you, Cheryl. You're not investing in the team that you think you're investing in. You're not investing. You're trying to heal them and fix them. You can't. They don't want to. It's not what they want. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know how backwards they are. They don't know how immature they are. They are not big picture people. And I feel like there's a lot of backbiting. Me. It's annoying to me, and I'm just picking it up psychically. So I would encourage you, when I say I'm telling you the spirit animals, the animal guides are telling me, first of all, they're asking you to use two animals. It's elephant and rhino. In my deck, the elephant is the Justice card, and the rhino is the King of Pentacles. So I would really encourage you to look up rhino energy, look up elephant, and definitely look up the Justice card and the King of Pentacles card, because when you build this new team, you got some goodness. I don't even know what you do, and I want to just sit there and watch you guys talk and create and come up with things, because they're smart and they're motivated because they're interested. This other team, I don't know. I don't dig that energy at all. So I hope that's helpful, Cheryl. Okay. Just so y'all know, I could sit here all day and do this. This is like the funnest part of my day. If I could, I would do readings all day long. It's what I used to do, is readings all day long. I've never been so happy in my life. Melissa de Jesus, oh man, I'm not going to slaughter your last name, especially because Jesus is in it. Melissa, it looks like you have hot pink hair, which I greatly admire. Is the universe trying to tell me to move with this tropical storm headed directly for us? I moved me and my kids for personal reasons from New Jersey to Tampa almost a year ago. Is it time to move again? No, not out of... It's time to move out of the path of the storm if you think it's going to be harmful to you. But no, this is not the way. No. And the other thing is, Melissa, again, I'm going to state that if you have asked for an answer on my channel, I'm going to make the assumption that you want to be answered directly and authentically, which is the only way animals communicate. And that's who I communicate with, is all the animals on the other side, your animal spirit guides on the other side. Melissa, this move is not the first move that you've made. You've done this since you were a kid. You feel like moving on is going to solve heal the demons and solve the problems. It's just made everything worse. But it's what you're used to. So don't do it. And it's almost like one of the things you're being called to now is, let's say that you say to somebody something, let's say that you're authentic. I just keep hearing authenticity with communication is something that if you will work on, man, you'll have, and you can work on you can work with frogs or toads with that, because they're the most, when it comes to communication healing, communication medicine from the animal kingdom, frogs, they're the shiznet. I mean, the shiznet. And, like, let's say that you say to some, you're like, okay, well, I'm just really going to tell somebody how I feel. And you say to that person, you know, it really, not you hurt my feelings, but it really hurt my feelings when you did yak, yak, yak. And let's say that there are like a lot of people that have low level communication. They come back and say, well, you blah, 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 because, you know, you let yourself be vulnerable and open and tell them that when they did this or said this, that hurt your feelings. And, you know, the hope would be obviously that you all would talk it out or, you know, resolve or whatever. But in that moment, they don't care. In that moment, they're triggered because nobody wants to be told they're wrong, because that's how people hear it. Even if that's not what you said, that's not what your intent was. You see where I'm going with this? You're very likely to back off very quickly and go, the time for that has got to stop. If I may, Maria Di Colon, good morning. You were on my mind this morning, just so you know. Now is the time, Melissa, to send away with the storm. I would cast whatever lack of confidence you have in your own voice. I would let the storm take that away and dump it in the ocean somewhere. You could do a ceremony. You could do a ritual. You know, get yourself some earth-friendly paper and some earth-friendly ink and just write down the stuff that you want to send off with the storm. But I would do that. And I think when you get on the other side of the storm, if you'll do that, if you'll work with frog energy and frog medicine, or toad energy and toad medicine, and you'll consider what's being told to you today, you could be I just feel like this whole fresh new thing coming for you if you'll take those steps. Okay. You're so welcome, Lori Romero. I love that you all are always here. Okay, I'm going to take one more question, then I got to go, y'all. I got to go. Okay, I'm searching for a question. Joan Jurish. There are big changes ahead when I'm able to move. The move will be far away. Have concerns about moving away from family. Not only is this change best for you, but it should have been done a long time ago. And you're not going to be far away from family. That's what, you know, planes, trains, and automobiles are for. But the thing is it just should have been done a long time ago. This move, whatever this move is, Joan. And I think your only problem once you move is how guilty you might allow yourself to feel when you know, there'd be no reason to, that you're enjoying yourself so much where you are away from family. But wherever this area is that you're moving to, listen, it's not about me, right? But when I get the feeling for someone, when they're asking me about a move, and I get the feeling that I feel when I think about living part of the time in Glastonbury, England, and part of the time in Sedona, Arizona, and maybe even, you know, traveling to Nepal a few times a year, I just, my heart sings and I feel like, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. There's just a deep soul calling with you. There's just a deep, it's like, you know, because you do know you should have done it a long time ago, but you're going to do it now and it's going to go great. I hope that's helpful, Joan Jurish. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm looking for one more question. One more question. Come on. One more question. Why am I singing that song? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, is somebody... That's the theme from Raiders of the Lost Ark. What the heck? Okay, so somebody's got to have something going on that has to do with like the Raiders of the Lost Ark or crystals, because there's a place... Oh my God, Ifa Maya Waya Ogunawala. I love you. My heart goes out to you. You must be in the most miserable, horrible place in your life that you want to scam people. So I have to block you. It is with a heavy heart, because we would have welcomed you, you putz. Okay. So does somebody have... So there's a company here in town called Raiders of the Lost Art. I don't know how they haven't gotten sued all these years, but they're a wholesale crystal supply company. They've been around around a long time. So I don't know why I'm singing the Raiders of the Lost Ark theme music. Or it might be somebody that really, really, really has a crystal thing going on. Angie, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. You're very welcome, Joan Jurish. And Angie, thank you very much. Okay, you guys, I don't see another, of course, the last message I see is Pearl. All I saw was you puss, as you meant putz. Yes, you putz. What can I tell you? It's my Jewish background. Oy, my shugana. Okay. Just started using crystals to heal myself and friends. Okay, cool. All right. So, I love you all very, very much. And I just want to remind you, I will miss you all terribly, but, I will be waiting with bated breath to see what this storm does. So no live tomorrow. I will do a live on Friday, depending on what the storm does, if there's any damage or any whatever. And then for those of you that are in class tomorrow night, and thank you for backing the Kickstarter. I'll see you in class tomorrow night. And what's the most important thing today and everything, y'all? To do good for animals, including yourself, and stay wild. Take care, everybody.